Hello and welcome back. I'm Joseph Hoffman. Today is a very epic day because we're unlocking the secrets of key signatures, that little collection of sharps and flats that you see at the start of a piece. Remember, there are two ways composers can tell you to play a sharp or flat. They can place it right in the flow of the music, immediately in front of the note head it alters. Or they can place it in a key signature at the beginning of an entire staff of music, which means to automatically sharp or flat all notes on that staff of that certain letter. For example, with this key signature, since the sharp is on the F line, you would sharp every F on this entire staff, whether it's this F up high or this F down low. Some key signatures have lots of flats or sharps, like this one or this one. But how does a composer decide which sharps or flats to place in the key signature? And why do they always follow a certain order? Those are exactly the questions we're going to answer today. Let's come to the piano and try and figure this out. The easiest key signature of all is C major, because it's all white keys. We don't need any sharps or flats. To build any one octave scale, you recall from a previous lesson, we just need these two tetrachords, each one with a half step in the top position of the tetrachord. Now, today we're going to keep track of each new key signature that we discover, starting with C major. And to do this, we're going to unveil, drumroll, behold the ladder of fifths. This is a handy little tool that we will use to figure out all the keys that have sharps in it. So let's get started down at the bottom. Now, if you get the printable materials for this unit, you'll be able to print this out and do this along with me. I'm starting at the bottom of the ladder with C major. And this is the first rung of the ladder because C major has 0 sharps in the key signature. So this will just be blank. If you come across a piece of music with nothing in the key signature, chances are you're in the key of C major. So now, as we go up the ladder, we're going up fifths. Can you tell me, what would a fifth above C be? If you said G, you're correct. So next, we get to figure out how many sharps in the key of G major using the one octave scale. Let's come back to the piano to figure that out. All right, so let's figure out how we would build a G major one octave scale. Using these tetrachords, does this tetrachord look like a major tetrachord? The answer is yes, because we do have a half step here in this top position between the third and fourth note, or mi and fa. Now what about this tetrachord? Are we good here? No, not quite. We don't have a half step here, so we would need to take this F and make it F sharp. And that now gives us a half step between T and Do. So this would be the key of G major. Let's try to play it. Okay, left hand fingers 5, 4, 3, 2 on these 4 notes, and then right hand 2, 3, 4, 5 with finger 4 on that F sharp. Get in position, no thumbs needed, and let's sing the solfege for G major. Ready? Go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Now let's step down. Do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. Now say the letter names. Ready, go. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Now step down. G, F sharp, E, D, C, B, A, G. As always, you could press pause to practice that a little bit more if you need to, but otherwise, let's keep going. So let's mark down what we just found. 1 sharp, which is F sharp. Anytime we find a sharp, we'll put it here on the rung. And then over here, we'll draw the key signature. To show that we're going to automatically sharp any F, we're going to use this top F line of the treble staff, and that tells us we have 1 sharp in the key of G major. So this would be your key signature for G major. Now, what would a fifth above G be? Correct answer is D. So now let's come back to the piano and figure out how many sharps we would need to play D major. Okay, now let's figure out if D is Do, where we would need sharps to make this D major. Check out this first tetrachord. Do we have a half step where we need it right here? No. What are we going to have to do? We need to take this F and make it F sharp. Now, what about this tetrachord? Point to the note we would need to change to make this one work out. We need to take this C and make it a C sharp, so we get a half step between these top two. So this time for D major, we have two sharps. And can you tell me their names? That's right, we have F sharp and C sharp. Now let's try to play it. Okay, place 4 fingers from the left hand here, 4 fingers from the right hand here. Make sure you're covering up an F sharp and a C sharp. And let's say the letter names. Ready, go. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Come down now. D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, D. Now, we could take this same position and play a song we know, like the song we recently learned, Follow Me. Follow, 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 follow me. Let's make a line for all to see. So press pause and try that on your own. See if you can play Follow Me in the key of D, then press play when you're ready to go on. Okay, now on our ladder of fifths, let's write down what we discovered regarding those two sharps for the key of D. All right, so in D major, we found that we had an F sharp once again, just like we had in G major, but this time we add to that a C sharp. So let's draw our key signature. Once again, in music, it's traditional to use this top flag F line. There is another F down here, but this is the one we traditionally use for key signature. And we also need a C sharp. So how many sharps total? That would be 2 sharps make the key of D major. Now, what would a fifth above D be? Let's keep going up the ladder. The correct answer is A. So let's come to the piano and figure out how many sharps in the key of A. Okay, time to figure out the key of A. We've placed our first note on A here, and now what do you think about this tetrachord? Do we have the half step here? No, we don't. So what are we going to have to do? We'll take this C and make it a C sharp. Now, what about this tetrachord? Now, you probably realize we need to take this G and make it a G sharp, but that's not good enough yet. You'll notice that we have a half step here, and this is not a place we want a half step. We only want a half step between these top two. So that means we're also going to have to take this one and move it up here. And what that does is it builds a whole step between E and F sharp and another whole step here. So we only have a half step here, which is exactly where we want it. So now, what are our sharps? We have a C sharp, we have an F sharp, and a G sharp. We had F sharp and C sharp before. Now we're adding G sharp to the mix. Let's try and play it. So 4 fingers of the left hand covering up A, B, C sharp, D. 4 fingers of the right hand covering up E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Can you cover that up? And let's try and sing the solfege. Start on Do, ready, go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Come down. Do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. Good. Try the letter names. Go. A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Coming down. A, G sharp, F sharp, E, D, C sharp, B, A. Nice job. Now, why all these keys, you might ask? Remember, every key unlocks certain songs that you're able to play. Every time a composer writes a song, he chooses what key. The more keys that you know, the more songs you're going to be able to play. So let's write down the sharps we discovered in A major. We had an F sharp, a C sharp, and the new sharp was G sharp. Now, you might be wondering, why did I put them in this order? Because when we played it on the piano, we came across the C sharp first, and then the F sharp, then the G sharp. Well, the reason is, you might be noticing kind of a pattern here. It was like the F sharp was the first sharp to show up in line, and then the C sharp came in line, and just like if you're waiting in line, you don't want to give up your spot. Since the F was the first sharp on our ladder of fifths, it's going to keep that first place in line all the way up the ladder. And C sharp will always be second, and any new sharps we will add on one at a time at the end. That's just the tradition we do in music. We keep our order in line. So we have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. Even if that's not the exact order you played in the scale, it's the order they appear on the ladder. So we'll use that same order for the key signature. We'll draw the F sharp first, just like all the other key signatures so far, then the C sharp. And for G sharp, it's tradition to use this space up above the F line for that G sharp, for a total of 3 sharps in the key of A major. Now, what would a fifth above A be? If you said E, you are correct. Okay, by now you've probably seen the pattern going on here. With G major, we had 1 sharp, D major, 2 sharps, A major, 3 sharps. So, guess how many sharps will be in E major? That's right, it's going to be 4 sharps this time. Let's see if you can figure out where those 4 sharps are. Press pause and see if you can play the 1 octave major scale for E major, and then press play when you're ready to try it with me. Is this what you came up with for E major? For E major, we need 4 sharps. We need to sharp this G to make that a half step, but we also need to get rid of this half step by moving this one up here. So now we have whole step, half step. And then up here, same thing, whole step, half step. And there's always a whole step in between the 2 tetrachords as well. So this would make E major. We still have F sharp and C sharp and G sharp, and our new sharp is D sharp. Let's try to play it. All right, 4 fingers of the left hand on E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Right hand on B, C sharp, D sharp, E. Now, can you play it with me? And let's sing the letter names. Start on E, ready, go. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. Now come down. E, D sharp, C sharp, B, A, G sharp, F sharp, E. Wow, that's a mouthful. Good. Now let's come to our ladder of fifths and write down the 4 sharps we found. Okay, so we had an F sharp. Once again, we're going to use the same order that we've had all the way up the ladder. C sharp, next G sharp, and then what was the new sharp? Yes, it was D sharp was our new sharp. So let's draw our key signature. We had an F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp. 4 sharps makes the key signature for E major. Now that we've made it this far up the ladder, let's review all the keys we've found so far. So try this with me. We're going to start with the key of C major with 0 sharps. And let's say out loud the key that we're in and how many sharps. So say with me, C major, 0 sharps. And then we'll play up the scale. Ready? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Good. Now we're going to go up a fifth. And to do that, we start on C and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That brings us to G. So now our left hand is going to take over this tetrachord, and our right hand will take over this tetrachord, and we'll need to add F sharp. So let's name this key, say it with me, G major, 1 sharp. Ready? And let's sing the letter names. Go. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Great job. Now let's come up another fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will now be our starting key. So we'll put finger 5 of both hands on D. And now we're in D major 2 sharps. Let's say it together. D major 2 sharps. Ready? Let's say the letter names. Go. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Good. Now we're going to come up another fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And instead of continuing to go higher and higher on the piano, which eventually will run out of room, since that lands us on A, let's come down to this A. And without my help, can you cover up A major? Let's see if you can find where those 3 sharps are before I show you. Okay, here's what you should have found. We have a C sharp and an F sharp and a G sharp. All right, this is, say it with me, A major 3 sharps. Say the letter names, go. A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Now, we're going to come up one more fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That brings us to E. You'll notice that whatever is the first note your right hand is playing actually becomes the first note that your left hand plays in the new key. So now our finger 5s are on E, and we're going to have 4 sharps. See if you can cover this up and say the key with me. E major, 4 sharps. Ready, go. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E. Nice job. Now, on your own for practice time, I'd like you to review all of those keys we've learned so far, one at a time, going up by fifths. So the first time, just sing the solfege. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And then come down, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do. Then do it one more time singing the letter names. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. And then try playing Follow Me in that key. Follow, 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 follow me. Let's make a line for all to see. Then you're going to do all those steps again up 1/5, now in the key of G major. And always name the key that you're in out loud. So you're thinking about all these keys and where those sharps are. Then for an extra challenge, once you get to E major, see if you can figure out the next fifth up. If you go up 5 notes from E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you'll see you'll land on B major, which we know from the ladder will have 5 sharps. So I'm not going to show it to you. See if you can figure out B major. Remember, it should sound like the other keys. It should sound like a major scale. Nice work today learning about the ladder of fifths and key signatures with sharps. On your own, please review playing all these keys, and for a challenge, try figuring out the key of B major on your own. Happy practicing, and see you next time. Princess, princess, come quick! I knocked the ladder down outside. The ladder of fifths? No, a real ladder leaning up against the house. Well, why don't you just tell Chef? It's his ladder. I think he already knows. He's hanging off the roof. Ah, come on.